with FESTIVE Road, the consultancy on a mission to create better traveller meetings management. Today, I'm in conversation with Mark Cuschieri of UBS. Hi Mark, welcome.
Hi, glad to be here.
We
so
get to
exciting,
see each other in
actually.
person.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't
I
it
feel
good?
so buzzed by it all, actually.
Good. Well, we really appreciate you being here. Thank
Pleasure.
you. So what would you like to talk about today? What topic are we picking?
Well, I think, look, I mean, we're here at the Business Travel Show. It's just amazing just being amongst people again. And I really think for me, it's about what role do we play as we return back to travel. So the role, my role maybe, or the role of my peers, role of a travel manager in the future. We don't have a playbook on this. So I think that's quite exciting. So
why is it important to you personally?
Because I think it gives us now the necessary opportunity to step back, try things differently, and maybe we might not get it right. I love the fact that there isn't a playbook on this. There's no instruction manual that we can go to. And if I go back to the support like FESTIVE Road was giving during the whole pandemic, that's so useful for our peers, our sector, whether you're a buyer or supplier. So I think it's, the fact that we don't have already a book of answers on this, it's really exciting. It's about change, it's about opportunity. And I think we've spent 18 months feeling really crappy, right? And seeing the industry so impacted and so many people impacted by it. I just feel now we need some positive energy and looking at it in a positive way.
So is there a real timing piece here? Does it feel, so I was with the Travel Buyer Day here yesterday, and it felt almost a cathartic process and a counselling process of, it's been a really tough time the last 18 months for the travel management community. Is there a timing piece linked to this is why you think it's really important? Is it about emerging pandemic or?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, look, let's not kid ourselves. We're not out of the pandemic, but we've got to adapt to it. We've got to work with it. It's not just going to go overnight. So I think as we've seen, and wherever you're located, and we've seen the UK sort of come out with a lot of it returning to the office. As we're returning to the office, I think that's the timing thing. But I have this analogy about a travel program, right? You spent 18 months, a bit like historically, you've had a car, your travel program has been like a car on a freeway, on the motorway, and you're trying to change the wheel on the motorway, going at 100 miles per hour, right?
Yep.
But we've had the car in the garage, right? For the past 18 months, trying to change it up.
And it could have gone rusty.
And yeah, absolutely.
So actually, is that a bit of a worry that there could be some rusty travel programs?
It could be.
I mean, I know that's not you, because you've kept on it for the...
Yeah, but I think, look, and people say that to me, well, you've been in the industry for so long. I learned something, what I've done over the last 18 months, I've learned so much. Okay, we're all zoomed out, right? And we've spent so much time educating ourselves. And that's one thing I believe. Education will now be part and parcel. It's not just going to be something that we've just done. It's something that's going to be with us for a long time, because we're going to be learning different things. And I think as a travel manager, we have to adapt. We have to be flexible. We have to try different things.
Yeah.
And I think there's no harm in actually saying, be prepared to fail. There's no harm in that, because you're trying something new. And you don't have all the answers.
Yeah. So it's so fascinating, because we don't get to know in advance what it is you want to talk about.
Yep.
And we're here at the Business Travel Show Europe. Last week, Business Travel Show America, I did a session on the future of the travel manager, the evolution of the travel manager role. And to prepare for that, I created a capability matrix in true Caroline structured style.
Obviously.
10 key capabilities that a travel manager needs. Levels 1 through 5, entry level through to cutting edge, changing the world. And I really believe that we need something like that in the industry to start creating a playbook for the travel manager role, so that you can self-assess and go, right, well, I'm here and now it's quite funny, I'm sitting here looking at you, realizing I actually gave you amazing credit in that session. And I should have really asked your permission in advance, but it was a nice something. I was talking about, one of the examples was data and analytics, and starting an entry level would be you can receive information and analyze it. And then it goes up right through to predictive analytics. And so I shared that you're a great example of that, and your team at UBS, that I've seen you on that journey. You've gone, because it started with,
of course,
find the basics, and then all the way up to.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a place for something like that? Like, what do you wanted to talk about the future role of the travel manager. What does that mean to you? Do you think it would be good to have a playbook? Do you have any other ideas of things?
I think, would it be good to have a playbook on the basis of test, trial things, and then adapt? I think it's a program that will have constant iteration, because that's all I believe it's going to be. And so I think it's looking at your program. Can we do things differently? Rewriting the playbook, but something that can be so flexible and agile that it can change at any moment. And I think that's something that we've learned over the pandemic, is we've never encountered this before. We've had to take a step back and, well, what do I do? You know, as a travel manager, I think we've all built greater relationships across our business. I think the importance is maintaining those relationships. Right. Maintaining and broadening them, and bring other people into your program that maybe in the past you haven't. And by doing that, you're learning more things that you haven't done before. And those things, I think you can start to put procedural, but not be so fixed. Okay. Right? I think that's the important thing. You may have done things in a certain way previously like that, but now we know they need to flex. And I think technology now will be a huge enabler. I think data drives action. So I think we'll be closer to analytics. I think that's really, really critical. But again, we can write a playbook today, but who knows what's going to happen in 9 or 10 months. So
what's interesting there is the capabilities you've spoken about there. So you've spoken about the need to be able to analyze and evaluate, having some technical capability, of which some people listening to this might go, oh my God, I'm not at all technical. That doesn't really matter, right? You can go get help from others.
Totally.
You've spoken about collaboration and engagement up the organisation across. Are there any other capabilities, skill sets that you think are going to be really critical for travel
Communication
management?
skills.
Communication.
I really do believe. I mean, I'm exhausted.
And communication's a word that gets over abused, actually, of we all need to be better communicators. What does that mean to you?
I think it's not just in written, but it's also our ability to build relationships and how we connect, and how, you know, Caroline, we've all been in a position, you only get probably 2 minutes with maybe your most senior people, right? And it's about putting your pitch, your business case, your recommendation. It doesn't need to say it how it is. That's what I've learned.
Right.
You know,
so
sometimes
take out all the business BS.
Take out all the BS, right? Say it how it is. You're far more comfortable in that place, rather than actually wasting those 2 minutes of precious time that you have trying to think about, what should I say? Do you know what? They're all human, and that's what they want to hear, right? And I think it brings on that whole pitch about the whole duty of care, is that we've engaged so much more with our travelers as well, and they just want to support, they want help, they want understanding. And so communication, how we communicate, how we articulate it, you don't need a dictionary, just say it as it is. And if you feel passionate about something, then share that.
Brilliant. So that's been travel manager capability, some really great examples there of areas that you think travel managers should focus on. Are there any areas in the travel program that, as we have this opportunity with the car in the garage, as it starts to come back out, is there anything that they should be really focused on, like policy? Or, right.
Yeah, I think policy is a great place and a great opportunity.
Okay.
We're doing that right now. You know, and it's a top-down approach, which I love, which is great, and it in terms of the organisation around simplifying, make it far more user-friendly. Opening up a policy, you know, this has really given us an opportunity to say, just simplify your policy. Does it need to be 31 pages? Does it need to be ambiguous, duplication? Can we say it in, I don't know, read it in 3 seconds, right? Can we just use our tone of voice, which is natural, rather than, you know, we talked about carrot and stick and all of that, but let our processes and our tools and our systems actually manage the policy?
Right.
Do we really need to go into so much detail? So we've tried to be radical in a very sprint, agile way. And sometimes we get lost and blinkered in our own travel management speak, right? And I think take a step back, engage with others in your community, in different verticals as well, and also internally with other stakeholders who know nothing about a travel policy. They're the best people to engage with. Because remember, we're now entering into an environment where someone may not have traveled for 18 months, right? You're re-educating that process, but you're re-educating your own program to say, you know, we still are going to come back in a very slow and measured way, but can we do things differently? Can we empower our people to make those choices? Let our systems drive through demand management, try to influence behavior. Sustainability is so important. And yes, our policy needs to focus more on that, but let our tools and systems change that behavior.
Okay.
So that's,
Can you imagine a time where you say to your employees, or indeed any company says to their employees, here's your financial budget, here's your carbon budget, you go make the right decisions, we don't have a travel policy anymore?
Yes. So if I tell you 5 days ago, our objective is at some point not to have a policy, that's radical. In our organization, that's radical, but that's come from the top. Simplify, remove policies where it's unnecessary. And now, can we go from 100 to 0? I'm a bit cautious, right? We need still some of the regulatory stuff that needs to be in the policy, but can we say it and do it differently? Can I see a time where a policy will not be required? I actually do. And I think that will be good. Empower people. Yes, as you said, you know, we want to flick things, maybe move to carbon budgets rather than just financial, convert the financial to carbon and allow people to make decisions and allow our systems to steer you in the right direction using behavioral science. All of that. Personalizing your program. You know, people have different behaviors. So getting now is a time, I believe, where you can start to try and understand your type of travelers. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, it sounds like we are going to have to invite you back to do a whole nother session just purely on policy.
Gosh,
so if you
pressure.
started 5 days ago, maybe we'll fast forward a few months and interview you again. I so appreciate you spending time with us today, Mark. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.